Today we're learning about slope. You've been graphing lines for a few days, and so I want to talk a little bit about what slope means. First of all, get your name at the top of the paper, and I want you to notice slope M stands for slope, which is kind of funny because all along you've been learning things like y equals kx, where k was the unit rate, and that's still the same thing if we have a proportional graph, but we don't always have a proportional graph. You know from your scenarios that you've been doing, sometimes we end up with something that looks like this. Y equals 5x minus 5. When we have a y-intercept at the end of the equation, that means this is no longer a proportional line. So now we are learning about lines that are not proportional. When we have to figure out what the coefficient is in front of the x, that's called the m. And by m, we mean what is the rise compared to the run. Okay, so we find that by taking two y values and subtracting them. And then we divide that by two x values, the same corresponding x values. And I want you to look over here. It says slope is represented by rate of change. Rate of change. I think you even saw that on your scenario packets. Slope should be written as a fraction in simplest form. Now let's review for a little bit. A fraction could look like this, right? It's really the same thing as 5. 5 would be the simplest form. So just because there's not a number underneath doesn't mean it's not a fraction. Now, when you think of slopes, if you ski or you snowboard or if you've ever gone on a sled ride, you know that the steeper the slope, the faster you're going to go. So there's a lot we need to learn about these, and we're going to learn a lot over the next few days. Let's continue on towards the bottom. The slope of a line can be determined from a table. From a table, we can use a table, or we can count the units on a coordinate plane, or by subtracting the units, or coordinates, sorry. And that's what we are talking about right up here. That would be the subtraction form of it, okay? We're going to learn a lot about this, so make sure you pause the video if you need more. I'm going to scroll on down. No, I'm not going to scroll down right away. I always do that. Okay, I'm going to practice a little bit here too. All right, so the slope of a line can be determined by table. We just said by counting or subtracting. We're going to try one of each. Number 1 says find the slope between the 2 points. 3, -2, and 4, 4. So this is what we really need to do. I'm going to do this over here. Remember, it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So these are going to be our 2's, let's say. These will be our 1's. So our y value is 4, and our other y value is -2. Our x value is 4, and our x1 value is 3. I hope I said that right. So this is 4. What happens with these two negatives? Of course, they become positive. So we have 4 plus 2 over 4 minus 3 is 1. What's 4 plus 2? It's 6. 6 over 1 is 6. So our slope is 6. That just tells us how many places up we travel as we travel one to the right. I'll explain this a little bit more in a second. But if you were to look here, if I started here, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. That would be our next point. We'll explain this a little bit more later. Number 2, same thing. These will be our 1's. These will be our 1's. These will be our 2's. So we're going to start with -1 minus 0 over -8 minus 6. -1 minus 0 doesn't change, so it's -1. -8 minus 6 is -14. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and I have 1/14. That's a really, if we started here, we would go up 1 and over 14. So this slope does not rise very quickly at all. If we were to look over here, let's try the counting method. From this point to this point, let's count up. 1, 2, 3 over 1, 2. So the slope here is 3 over 2. Don't forget, it's the rise over the run. So we always count up first and then we count the run. Let's start with this one. We're counting up 1, 2, so that's our rise, over the run, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can I simplify this? Yeah, and I have to. 2/4 is the same as 1/2. So our slope in this problem is 1/2. Did you notice this next slope is actually moving down as we travel to the right? So if I start here, my rise is actually falling. So it's going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's a -6. Yes, negative means it's going down over 2 to the right. Now I can simplify this. It's -3 over 1, which is the same thing as -3, and that's our slope there. Let's go all the way back here to this beautiful mountain picture here. It says the slope of a horizontal line. I want you to just imagine this. If you were trying to sleigh ride and you were on a flat surface, you wouldn't go anywhere. So your speed would be 0. You're not going up, you're not going down. So this is a 0 slope if it's horizontal. Now remember, horizontal means like this x-axis is horizontal. The slope of a vertical line, in other words, like this, the vertical line going up and down is called undefined. We are going to learn more about this over the next few days, but make sure you're listening to this. The slope is undefined. We have a little bit more to do, so I have to scroll down. Oh, I didn't put that one on. Almost done. I'll write in blue this time. Remember, I'm right here at this point. Remember, up and right are positive movements. Oh no, is my pen not going to work again? So when we say we're moving up, it's a positive. When we say we're moving right, it's a positive. So as you can imagine, if I'm going down or if I'm moving to the left, those are negative movements. Okay? Plot a line. We're over here right now. I'm all over the place. Plot a line that starts at the origin and has a slope of -3. Okay, here's my origin. This is I love drawing these by counting. It's so much easier than subtracting. So it says plot a line that starts at the origin and has a slope of -3. Now remember, negative means going down. So I'm going to go 1, oh, my computer keeps freezing. 1, 2, 3, and over to the right. Sorry about that. Make a dot there where my pen will not seem to work. And that means that's a slope going through here. Let me see if I can draw with this instead. Definitely my pen that's an issue. Okay, I'm going to try to make a straight line, and it's not going to go that well, but hopefully yours will be better. This is my slope of -3. Notice it's going down. Now it says plot a line that starts at 0, 4. So we're here at 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, right there. And has a slope of -3, 4. So that means down 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the 2 points I've just plotted. They're both negative, so this again is going down to the right. It's a negative slope. Okay? Just don't forget, when we talk about fractions, the top number is the rise. The bottom number is the run. Please write this down. Hopefully your writing is better than mine. Okay. Good luck.